The knock on my door came at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. I opened the door in my pajama pants and his faded Radiohead t-shirt that I'd slept in the night before. Standing there was a woman about my age. Straight brown hair falling just past her shoulders, simple gold necklace, cute ankle boots. She looked me up and down. "Are you Anna?" she asked. Her voice was calm but tight, like someone trying really hard to keep it together. When I nodded, she introduced herself as Megan and said we needed to talk about Kai. My brain froze. Kay had never mentioned a Megan. A coworker? His sister, maybe? Then she dropped the bomb. Kai and I have been together for 4 years. We live together. I just stood there with my mouth open, unable to process her words. She explained she found my address in his location history. When I finally managed to stammer that there must be some mistake, she listed off details about him. Blue Audi A4, small scar on his right hand from when he fell off his bike as a kid, parents in Cincinnati, allergic to shellfish. Every detail matched perfectly. My stomach dropped to my feet. The room seemed to tilt sideways. I let her in because what else could I do? We sat at my kitchen table and she calmly told me she'd suspected something for months. The late nights at work. The way he guarded his phone. How she finally checked his Google location history when he left his account, logged in on their shared laptop, and found he visited my address twice a week like clockwork. Tuesday and Thursday nights, our regular date nights. I kept shaking my head, telling her I had absolutely no idea he was in a relationship. I swore I'm not a homewrecker. I would never knowingly be someone's side piece. She said she believed me. That's why she came to me first instead of just confronting him. She wanted to see for herself. My mind kept flashing back to how we met 5 months ago. I was working at this coffee shop downtown, typing away on a freelance project. Kai was at the table next to me. He had this smile that made me feel immediately at ease, like we'd known each other forever. We ended up talking for an hour. He was smart, funny, passionate about architecture and design. When he asked for my number, I felt this fluttery excitement I hadn't experienced in years. Our first date was at this little Thai place he knew about. Nothing fancy, just good food and conversation that flowed so naturally. I was shocked when we realized the restaurant was closing around us. We talked about everything, our jobs, families, dreams, disappointments. I told him things I hadn't told anyone, about my dad's drinking, my fear of ending up alone, my secret dream of starting my own marketing firm someday. He listened in this way that made me feel truly heard. But now all the red flags were screaming at me. How Kai always came to my place, never invited me to his. Always had excuses, place being renovated, roommate messy, neighborhood sketchy. Weekends were always off limits because of family obligations or work commitments. His social media was minimal, just a basic Instagram with architecture photos and no personal life. His phone was always on silent, always face down. Megan showed me pictures of their life together on her phone. Holiday gatherings with family, vacations to Mexico and Colorado. Their condo with the exposed brick wall he'd told me about, claiming it was his new design project for a client. Their golden retriever named Charlie. That broke me. Kai told me he was allergic to dogs when I suggested getting a puppy. We spent almost 3 hours comparing notes, piecing together his double life like some twisted jigsaw puzzle. Tuesday and Thursday with me, home with her the rest of the week, fake business trips when he was actually with me, the fictional roommate who was really her, the separate Instagram account where he carefully managed who could see what. He told me he loved me 3 weeks ago, said I was different from anyone he'd ever met, that he could see a future with me. All while living with her for 4 years, talking about engagement rings, meeting her family at Christmas. She wasn't hysterical or angry at me like I expected, just sad and determined. Said she was going to pack her things and stay with her sister. She'd be waiting when he got home to confront him with everything. I wasn't sure I'd have that kind of composure if our situations were reversed. After she left, I wandered through my apartment seeing everything with new eyes. The drawer I'd cleared for him in my dresser, the special coffee I bought because he liked it, the way I'd rearranged my work schedule to fit around his meetings. All part of this elaborate lie. I boxed up everything he'd left at my place, clothes, charger, books, even the stupid expensive face cream he insisted on using, and put it outside my door. He showed up 3 days later. I watched through the peephole but didn't answer his increasingly desperate knocks. He kept saying he could explain that it wasn't what I thought, that he was going to leave her, that what we had was real. Yeah, right. I just repeated through the door that I'd call the police if he didn't leave. TBH, I was half expecting him to claim Megan was crazy, that she was an ex who couldn't let go. That's how much I wanted to believe the person I fell for was real, how desperately I wanted to believe I hadn't been so completely fooled. Megan texted me the following week asking if I was okay. I asked her the same. We've met for coffee twice since then. Not to talk about him, but because IDK, this weird experience connected us somehow. She's actually really cool, has this dry sense of humor that makes me laugh despite everything. It's been a month now. Some days I'm angry, some days I'm sad, some days I'm embarrassed for not seeing what now seems so obvious. I keep replaying everything, looking for clues I missed. Why didn't I question why he never posted pictures of us? Why his phone was always face down? Why he took calls in another room? Why he always had an excuse for why I couldn't see where he lived? I got so caught up in how he made me feel special, understood, valued, that I ignored my instincts. I'd had this weird feeling sometimes, like a shadow passing over the sun. Little moments where something felt off. But I dismissed it because everything else seemed so perfect. The worst part isn't the betrayal. It's realizing the person I fell for wasn't real. Kai was just a character he played a few hours at a time, mixing pieces of his real life with whatever lies worked best. I don't even know which parts were true. Did he really love architecture, or was that just a convenient cover story? Did he actually care about me at all, or was I just an ego boost, a diversion from his real life? My friend says I'm not responsible for someone else's deception, but I still feel like I should have known better. Should have asked more questions, should have trusted that nagging feeling in my gut. I've been reading about pathological liars and narcissistic personality disorder, not to diagnose him, I'm not qualified, but to understand how someone can maintain such elaborate deceptions without showing cracks. How they can look you in the eye and say, I love you, while living a completely different life. It's terrifying, honestly. I'm not ready to date again, probably won't be for a long time, but I am ready to trust myself. Those little warning bells I ignored, next time I'll listen. And I'm setting better boundaries. No more. I'll always come to use arrangements. No more accepting vague explanations for weird behavior. No more ignoring my intuition because someone makes me feel good. Yesterday, I finally deleted all his texts. Over 3,000 messages gone with a single tap. The last one from the morning before everything fell apart. Can't wait to see you tonight. You're the only bright spot in my week. The man who wrote that text doesn't exist. Never did. He was just a carefully curated facade hiding a person capable of maintaining two separate relationships for months without remorse. That's the hardest pill to swallow. Megan's doing better too. She moved out of their shared condo and found her own place. We're getting drinks this weekend. We joke about starting a podcast called The Other Women Who Didn't Know They Were the Other Women. Probably won't happen, but laughing feels better than crying. She told me he's been trying to get her back, showing up at her work with flowers, texting her parents, claiming it was a one-time mistake, a moment of weakness that spiraled out of control. Classic manipulation. She's staying strong though. Said meeting me was the reality check she needed after years of small lies she'd excused or overlooked. I've been focusing on rebuilding, throwing myself into work. Some nights I still wake up confused, reaching for him before remembering it was all a lie. Those moments get less frequent though. The anger is fading into something more like pity. What kind of empty person needs to create fake lives just to feel something? What makes me mad still is how easily he fit into my life, how he met my friends and charmed them completely. Looking back, there were so many moments that should have raised questions. The weekend after Megan's visit, my friend Jess came over with wine and ice cream. She hugged me while I cried and then made me write down every red flag I'd ignored as a reminder for the future. The list filled 2 pages. She stuck it on my fridge where I'd see it daily, not to punish myself, but to remind me that I'm stronger now, wiser, less likely to fall for the same tricks again. Anyone else discovered they were the side piece in a spectacularly awful way? Because opening your door to your boyfriend's actual girlfriend has to rank pretty high on the how did my life become a bad movie scale. And if you're dating someone who's allergic to dogs but has a dog-shaped tan liney on their keychain, who has a messy roommates they never want you to meet, who's always working late on the same nights every week, maybe check that location history. Or better yet, trust your gut when something feels off, because the red flags look so obvious in hindsight. But when you're wearing rose-colored glasses, red flags just look like flags. Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up overnight. Thanks for all the supportive comments and messages. To answer some common questions, yes, we're both completely done with him. No, I haven't heard from him since that day at my door. Pretty sure he knows I'd get a restraining order if he tried again. And yes, Megan and I are actually becoming friends. Sometimes good things come from terrible situations.